What is happening in California right now is the biggest story that I have seen in I don't know how. If I was a news director of a talk radio, I'd say we're going to go California all the time. And the reason for it is that there are so many layers to this. Absolutely so many layers. I can't even stop writing them down. And the heritage media don't get it. Had a conversation today. It's funny. When you're in the business that we're in, you meet fellow travelers who say things and you kind of hint to each other, like maybe you're a member of the club. So we have this friend, young lady. She could probably, I don't know how old she is, 20 something, who knows? But she's kind of a hipster, one of these times. So Mrs. L and I are talking, and they says, "So what do you think about that?" And immediately you get one of these, like somebody's about to tell a racial joke, in the old days. Like, she says, "What do I think?" D.E.W. Didn't even say it. Now, when you hear it break out of the basement and the rumpus room and become part and parcel of a new generation of conspiratorial hipsters, conspiratorium hipsters, I should say, this is a whole nother world. This is a whole nother world. We're seeing something now that we've never seen before. This is bigger than anything you can imagine. Let me see if I can explain this to you. This is bigger than anything I've seen. I don't think people understand how big this is. It's, as we say in the kitchen, huge. It's enormous. And what people are not understanding is that the implications of this are so great. We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about this. Get ready. Make sure you sign up, sign in, and subscribe. I'm going to lay some stuff on you, my friends. Oh, my God. If you have never listened, this is the way. And after you get done with listening to me tonight, I want you to look and listen to what's going on with the regular heritage, legacy, sock puppet media. They just show you pictures. They show you pictures and they have somebody crying and that's it. There's no depth. They explain nothing. Well, if you want depth, my friends, you've come to the right place. But first, a word from our sponsor. We've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lakey, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some can even be harmful to your skin. Now, recently, Dr. Lakey has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? So he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He says it's almost like Photoshop for your face. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lakey has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. He says if this helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, I'll be thrilled knowing it helped. Now, the video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2,300,000 views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer even commented, quote, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I've never stopped using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." Now, so you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/Lionel or click on the link in the description below. That's bhmd1.com/Lionel. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lakey asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please, he says, share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. Go watch the video at bhmd1.com/Lionel right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. This evening, I happened to catch James Woods on CNN. He was being interviewed and he was crying. He was obviously very, I believe, sadly, he lost his home. Right before this happened, weeks before, prior to this, there was fire insurance that was canceled. It's almost like somebody knew what was going on. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm saying it looks like. And you've got to be pretty stupid. I've been through this my whole life, my whole career, always pointing out to people, this looks like this. And I'm going to say something to you again, and I'm going to say it with utter and absolute contempt. My job is to make you think better. And their job is to give you enough that will allow you to extrapolate, not show you pictures like you're swiping some Tinder profile, but to make you think and to make you understand and to make you really see where we're going with this. This is bigger than anything you can imagine. There's so many layers to this. It's huge. And the number one role of government, listen like you've never listened before. We talk about this ever since the days of Ronald Reagan. It's to protect you. It doesn't exist for anything or for any reason other than to protect you. That's it. That's it. That's simple. To protect. We didn't have fire departments until the 1800s, mid-19th century, and they were only part and parcel of insurance companies. There was no such thing as fire brigades. There were volunteers, but we never had governmental agencies and enforcement dealing with fire. Police, same way. The coppers later on. It is the one thing that we pay taxes to do, is to protect us, to do things that we can't do normally. I hope I'm getting through. And I don't say not to you, but to other people as well. This is it. We have been conned by these people. They tax us to death. They throw us in jail if we don't pay the taxes. And we get nothing back for it. We get nothing back. Nothing. Unless you think money's going to Israel and Ukraine are good to kill people, if that's what you want. Now, let me tell you something right now. If you're not into what's happening, you better go someplace else, because you're not going to like what I'm about to tell you, because this may really freak some people out. But I want you to think differently. And that's what I'm trying to get people to. I'm trying to get people to think differently. To ask yourself, how does this, what the hell's going on here? Now, one thing you got to remember is this. We got to ask ourselves these questions. What precisely is going on here? So, my friends, I want you to buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you, what I'm about to present to you, what I'm about to ask you, is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And it's about wildfires and the like. And I just did a video on Lionel Legal. It's called Tornado Fires. And I love that. Tornado fires. It's just because that's what this is. This is like nothing we've ever seen before. Let me see if I can explain something to you. It's like nothing we've seen before. Tornadoes of fire. Wow. It's when something acts differently You've got to pay attention to what's happening. When something happens drastically different, you've got to ask yourself, you got to pay attention. And it's okay. It's as though people need permission. Somehow they need permission, I guess, for you to say, can I point things out? Yes, you may. Yes, you may point things out. They're turning California into a living nightmare. And I don't want to sound in any way corny or cliched, but it's about turning California into this living dystopian hellscape. I mean, I'm using words that up till now, apocalyptic, dystopian, cataclysmic, just conflagrations, walls of fire. Mrs. L was familiar with somebody in this Pacific Palisades area. One area, a friend of hers had a very, very exclusive shop or something. Gone. And you look at the fire patterns originally. There was somebody, who was it? I don't know. A lot of these names, I'm kind of like you. I don't really watch, but it was somebody. They had a $6.5 million home. It was down to the foundation. Down to the foundation. There was nothing left. The intensity. We've seen fires before. You've seen fires. This, and next to it, it's right in the Daily Mail. Look at it. Right next door. It's like nothing happened. Do you need, I don't say do they need an invitation? Does Harris Faulkner or Jesse Waters or Jake Tapper or whoever the hell these people are, do they need an invitation to say, open your eyes? What does this look like to you? Ask the question. What is happening? I don't understand it. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And we're not talking about your average campfire gone wild here. We're diving deep into this abyss, this chasm, this canyon, this whatever, this hole of corruption, incompetence, and downright sinister machinations and coordinations orchestrated by the deep state and their globalist cronies. Do they not know anything? Do you think these imbeciles on these shows who sit on these stupid couches spouting their stupid things with their stupid makeup and hair have any idea of what the globalist corruption, the world of it, has done to us? Let's start with this so-called leadership in California. Specifically, and pacifically, to use a pun, the bumbling, oafish, fumbling, idiot man-child, the little boy, the benighted moonbat, Gavin Newsom, or as President Trump and others call him, Gavin Newscum. This little boy, this weird boy with a product, who's supposed to be at the helm, guiding the state through crises, has instead turned California into a tinderbox, ready to just go up in a heartbeat, ready to just go up. It's just, how do you do this? I mean, how do they do this? I hope you saw, my friends, my news, the Lionel Nation news. I don't call it a newsletter anymore. And I'm putting it right here. This is called D.E.I, is D.E.A.D. We're going to get to this in a moment, because this is why I'm saying the level of incompetence. If California were a country, it would be, if California were a country, it would be considered one of the world's largest economies, ranking around 5th largest globally, with a GDP comparable to countries like India, surpassing the UK and France in economic size. Significant economic power. Think about this. In 2023, its GDP was $3.8 trillion, representing 14% of the total U.S. economy. It would be, again, the 5th largest economy, and this state has this decrepit fire. Do you see what's going on? They have nothing. It's been looted. It's been gutted. It boggles the mind. What is this man's priorities? It's not the safety and welfare of Californians. Oh, no. Instead, he's pushing this D.E.I. crap. And by the way, this is the end. We went through this. Remember the nasally bejeweled Alethea Duncan. She's the sad sack ASAC. This is in Nowlands. Then there was LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell. She's the mayor. And then there's the Oshios Grandma Moses of this consortium, Ann Kirkland, who, by the way, is a year my junior. I'm thinking, oh my God, it was nothing. This is after the incompetence of the Secret Service. This is what we've been this is what DEI is today. When do you think maybe these folks, you think maybe these idiots, you think maybe these jerks, these jadrules, you think maybe in California, maybe they're realizing, so this is what this Trump guy is talking about. So this is what these people are talking, okay, maybe. Oh, so this is what oh, I see. Maybe that does make sense. Maybe it does make sense. Maybe having people selected for qualifications, and if you can somehow work in their sexuality, great. DEI, let me remind you, has nothing to do with fighting fires or managing water resources. It's boring stuff, but critical. You think, you live, you breathe fire. You think about maintaining water tables, maintaining pressure, doing dry runs, having coordinated, doing war games, looking at the configurations of these little streets and these paths. If these cars were to stop, it would clog. It would be like a thrombotic clog. It would extravasate, so to speak. It would just. This is what you think of, not being in some stupid pride parade with that George, whatever his name was, from Star Trek, and all these other pink-haired, nose-studded. I am so sick. Nobody cares about your sexuality but your politics. We have glorified freaks and degenerates, mentally ill people, unsure people who embrace this insanity. Why would a state, the 5th largest economy in the world, wealth beyond measure, why would it be reduced to ashes? Because new scum and his ilk have been too busy playing LGBTQ plus D.E.I. politics, engaging in this stupid virtue signaling, this nonsense. bending their knee to the United Nations, the globalist policies, which nobody understands. Nobody. We talk about this, and I want you to know, I've got it right here. Have you looked at, they sound so nice. Vision 2045, 11 sustainable cities. They tell you this. Remember during the Rona, they had, at the time, very interesting, they had these kind of war games, so to speak, that were exactly these table, what do they call them, table exercises, where they absolutely were so spot on to the point where you couldn't believe how they had predicted and planned everything. And if I didn't know better, you know what I mean? It was incredible. It's absolutely incredible. They tell you what they're going to do. Please, do me a favor. Figure a way to tell Harris Faulkner, I don't know why I'm just fixated on that name, and that stupid show that has this arrogant attitude of we're so smart. We are so smart. We know what we're doing. You don't know shit. You never talk about anything. You don't know. Your children playing news. You wouldn't know news if it bit you on the arse. You don't know about this stuff. And we have been laughed. We have been sidelined. We have been just, for the longest time, just pushed aside because we're crazy, because we don't believe the official narrative. They really want you to believe this. They want you to believe this stuff. This is what these people do. This is what kills me. Why do we bow to globalist policies that aim to control every aspect of our life? How do I go to somebody and say, you've never read this? Why haven't you read this? Why don't you ever talk about this? It's D.E.I. You like that stuff. That's kind of easy. You know what I mean? That's as close to it as they'll get. Because what we're talking about involves heavy lifting. What we're talking about is something that's deep. What we're talking about is something that is serious. Now, I don't know how to say this any other way, but we're going to have to do something. And I hope to God we could do something now. You know, I was listening to I'm not going to mention the name of it, but because but they were just trashing Elon Musk. And what they were saying was theoretically true. There are people who are never satisfied. Elon Musk he's a pawn of Ackman. He's a pawn of the Zionists. He wants to destroy, he and Vivek Ramaswamy are kind of anti-American. Okay. And they want to do all this stuff with this H-1B business and all of the big tech people. And they're into this big tech feudalism, techno-feudalism. And I want to stop and say, what do you people want? What do you people want? Do you not know what we've been through? Do you not? Are you so? There's a group of people. See, within our, I don't want to say conspiratorium, there are people who are so rarefied. They're as bad as the demented left. They live in a world where it's like, well, what do you want? Is Elon perfect? No. But we're going to have, I can't say that, we're going to have an inauguration. And what you should be doing is look what they're doing. Let me see if I can say this again. It's going to be disaster. What did I read today? If you follow me on X or Twitter, they're talking about the dock strike. It's the dock strike again. They didn't settle it. They're going to throw disaster after disaster after you. And what is news I'm going to say? It's global warming. I mean, they honestly believe this nonsense. They believe this. I am overwhelmed. I want to just like run out into the streets and say to people, do you not understand what's happening? Let me see if I can explain this to you. When I talk about preparedwithlionel.com, there are people who can't, there's nothing to go to. Now, I'm not suggesting, people say, well, are you saying that we're going to be the victims of dystopian hellfire? Just listen. You'll never hear about people who just went away. You'll never hear about what happened. Who's going to buy all this real estate? But in the meantime, there are things that are basic fundamentals. They're doing power grid, rollback. There's no water. The smoke doesn't allow food, survival. There is no cavalry. There's nobody coming. You're on your own. When you get done, you go into that garage of yours or wherever you and ask yourself, what are you supposed to do? What do you have? And I'm not talking about, well, I got a couple $100 and I got a gun, got some ammunition. No. What happens if it all stops? California, this area is dead. There's nobody getting in, nobody getting out, nothing. The richest people in the world, many of them, the biggest names in Hollywood, the biggest lefties, they're going. Preparedwithlionel.com. I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to say it to you. But I don't know what people need to understand. You're on your own. There is nobody coming for help. Nobody. This is the world we live in. There's nobody. We have nothing or had nothing. Biden couldn't give a damn. Even Kamala doesn't care. And even theoretically, she lived theoretically in the LA area, in the path of this. We talk about globalist policies, and I swear to God, I could walk into any of those people, and they'd say, "What the hell are you talking about?" It's like they didn't know. Remember when Gavin Newsom refused to sign the Water Restoration Declaration? No. He chose to protect some insignificant fish or something rather than ensuring there was enough water to fight fires. Now, do you think these people are stupid? No, I don't think they're stupid. Do you think this is by design? Do you think that they're a part of this? Do you think that America is just too stupid to realize, too fat and sassy, too busy with their phones and with their sports and TV shows? Yep. What's the problem? We have learning disability. We have the attention span of an ant. We don't know history. We just don't know. I don't know what it is. We'll talk about crap all day long. This is the most important issue right now. Let's talk about these fires. The Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, the Texas fire, Chile, all the other blazes that have erupted like some kind of apocalyptic prophecy. They're not just natural disasters. They're the result of negligence, corruption, and perhaps a sinister plan by the shadow government. That's a hypothesis. You've got to prove that one. How did people not know this was coming? How? So how did they know it was coming? The signs were all there. The Santa Ana winds, the parched and dry vegetation, the blatant disregard for forest management. They could have told you this flat out. Not only that, where are drones? Where are drones? What do you think China's thinking? Here's what I would do if I hated this country. Or if maybe I wanted to do this again. I just fly a drone over and I drop some kind of a device and I just take off. At one point, they were traveling 3 football fields an hour. Some of these things were taking off. And don't tell me this is just normal fire that starts. Don't even begin to tell me that. Don't. Because you're told this. You're told, well, that's just normal. Drones. No drones. No drones to even look out there. No drones. Explain to me this. Why nobody says, okay, we're gonna divide California into certain quadrants. And of this, we know these are the areas where there have been fires before, or where there's the greatest chance of fires coming up. It's over there. We know this area. You can squat it up. Maybe Elon could help with satellites. I don't know. So we have people who have their own, they fly their own drones, or whatever it is, drones. Go out there and look. Planes, drones. Just go back and forth. Especially during the dry season, right? Just drive around and fly around. And the first time you see, listen to what I'm saying, the first time you see anything, and I mean anything, a little scrub fire here, this and that, it takes a while. It doesn't just immediately take off, but it starts off and maybe it goes, oh, I don't know, maybe it's surrounding maybe an acre. But the problem is the embers start to move. But before we get to that, don't tell me there is no ability, no signaling, no detection grid or system that we can use and implement to go and find these. And then as soon as we say, go out there with your phone, hit where's my location, you send this to the Cal Fire, whatever it is, and they bring in C-130s or tankers or whatever the hell it is, and they come flying in and they do all their stuff. And that's it. And they saturate it, soak it. They've never learned that. Never. Don't tell me we can't come up with a simple system. Remember when the Chinese flew a white balloon over? We didn't do anything. We didn't say anything. We didn't know anything about it. It was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. This is the thing which doesn't make any sense, and I'm no expert in this. Why was fire insurance canceled at the last moment? You see, if you're going to do business in the state of California, and you're going to take premiums and premiums and premiums, unless you give these people a refund for the years that you can't do this. I don't want to bring up Luigi Mangione because I don't think taking the life of anybody is justified. But I hate insurance companies and these bastards like this because if I didn't know better, they knew something. Let me ask you, do you think they knew something? See, James Woods, he says, I think 4 months ago, they canceled fire insurance. They canceled fire insurance, flood insurance, whatever. Was it because the insurance companies knew something the public didn't, you think? Were they tipped off by the deep state, maybe? By the shadow government? Knowing full well that these fires were going to be catastrophic. It's suspicious, to say the least. The timing is perfect. Remember, there's no such thing as coincidences. Isn't there some, hey, right when we, son of a boy, that was good timing. Is there going to be an investigation of this? No. Because the insurance company is the biggest bunch of crooks there are, bar none. Obamacare was a love letter to the insurance company. And these liberoid, libtard, subtards, whatever these people are, these politicians, these folks, with their heads buried in the sand and with their head in their ass, they look the other way when warnings were repeatedly made and sounded over and over again. They were too busy with their woke bullshit and their this one D.E.I. and this one's that and this, and George Takei is in the parade. Who cares? We've had it. We've had it with D.E.I., and I'm so sick of this LGBTQIA. I don't care anymore. Don't even say it. I don't want to hear the word trans. I don't hear trans fat, transnational, transportation, Transylvania. I don't care what it is. I'm sick of this. They never cared about the infrastructure. This son of a bitch, this Biden and all these others bragged about, we have, infrastructure. You never did anything. Meanwhile, the forests were overgrown and basically could not have been designed better to fuel this hellscape. Isn't that something? Someone writes, I have fire insurance. Okay. Okay. I have car insurance. Okay. That's good. Let's not forget the fire department. Under the leadership of this chief, more concerned with diversity quotas, environment, LGBT, the first women. They said we have 8 women applicants. 8 women, the highest ever. Why aren't there? Why don't you think there are more firefighters? I have a relative who is a young, strapping young man, in his 20s, who wanted to become a firefighter. And he thought, and some people just showed up and they just, his age. He said the physical parts of it, he's in great shape. He said, this is brutal. This is a big kid. How is a woman, how is she expected to do this stuff? Do you know what going up, not only that, just the cardiovascular, upstairs, this is, and don't forget that Cal fire stuff, this wood fire. There's 8%. How many Cambodians do you think are in the NF or the NBA? How many Cambodians? Is that racial? How many apply? None? Huh. Wow. How many Asians in general? Really? That's weird. Must be rigged. So what we do is we lower the standards in order to guarantee the particular result. They're so worried about their goddamn diversity quotas. They didn't care about ensuring that hydrants were filled, that the pressure was there. I mean, this is boring stuff, but it's important. What good is a diverse team if they can't even fight a fire because there's no water? Now, I'm kind of old-fashioned with this. This is a result of years of mismanagement. This is the nonsense we're going to put up with. They're always focusing on the wrong battles, and this is going to be the end. And I want all those. You think those stupid bastards in LA and the left are going to say we've been hoodwinked and screwed by the Democrats? We've been screwed by Gavin Newsom. President Trump has got to go in and make the case. Do you think he's going to do that? Do you think he's going to do that? You think he's got the wherewithal to do it? You think he's going to go in and say once and for all, I'm going to put an end to this. I'm going to put an end to this. I'm going to make you and everybody else know what's going on. Do you think he's going to do that? It's perfect. This is the time to do it. We'll wait for Greenland later. There's so many roots to this. This is the end of D.E.I. D.E.I. is D.E.A.D. It's done. This was it. And these nefarious cabals, these conspiracies, as you say, they run deep. I mean, you got to ask yourself, why now? Why when California is already on its knees with economic issues? Homelessness, crime. Look at California. LA is already a shithole. Pardon my French, but I don't know what else word to describe it. Do these, all of a sudden, right now, and also right before the election, right before we're having this extended Jimmy Carter in mourning, okay, whatever. Just 12 days ago before the election, before the inauguration, why do you think this is happening now? Why do you think this is happening now? Is it to distract us from the failures of this? To maybe set the tone? To just turn over this disaster of a country to the president? Where already it starts off with California just saying, help us. Is it a part of a bigger plan to reshape the state? To push through land grabs? Push people out? Push them out of the more rural areas? Push them into the cities? What's going to happen to these people? You think a lot of these folks, they've got a lot of money, but they're not exactly rolling in it. I mean, they've invested, they've done their thing, but They're going to start over again in their 70s. They've got nothing. There's no home and no insurance. Nothing. Everything. Contents. Everything. Everything. Their home, their life, their history. It's like almost like having Alzheimer's, because Alzheimer's takes you of your memory. To some people, this is their memories. These houses were musea that they needed. They were museums to their life. K2Z says, in addition to the LGBTQ+, we can also live without the phrase, we are working with our partners in the region. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you for that. And I'm so tired of this. Please forgive me. Our thoughts and prayers. Shut up with the thoughts and prayers. Shut up. This is an expression. Gesundheit. God bless you. Have a nice day. How you doing? How have you been? Solid. We just say things, you know. My condolences. Our thoughts and prayers. I don't want thoughts and prayers. I want money. I want people. I want the 82nd Airborne. I want them to go in there. How did this happen? People need to be charged criminally, K2ZMM. They need to be charged criminally. We need to throw these people in prison, because what they've done is they've exhibited a non-feasance. Misfeasance, negligence. Non-feasance, I didn't do anything. And malfeasance, I did something on purpose. Mis, mal, and non. And we're seeing a pattern here. From the mismanagement of water resources, again, I keep saying, to the last-minute cancellation of fire insurance, from the neglect of forest floors to the focus on DEI over disaster preparedness, it stinks of a plot that's thick and rancid and fetid, thicker than the smell of smoke hanging over LA. This is huge. And the globalists and the UN and the shadow government have their hands all over them, have their fingerprints manipulating the weather. People talk about this all the time. Oh my God. I don't have to manipulate weather if I can drop fire. I don't have to manipulate weather. Let me know what's going on. Jesus, it just so happens. Thank you. In the Santa Ana winds in this place with this dry vegetation, and I know the water systems, I'm going to fly I'll just drop something off. Anything. What do you think it takes? It takes one spark, one lightning bolt, one nothing. I got a nice little incendiary piece. I drop it, blow this. There's no way to check it. And it just, boom. And I just wait. Maybe I'll do 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's going to say, we know there's drone activity. We saw drone. Nobody's watching for this. Nobody's looking to say, I saw them drop something. And no, you're not going to see this. And if I'm Xi Jinping, I'm going to say, you're not going to believe this. These people don't even know. We know how to do this. Let me tell you something. I'll never forget this. Do you know that one of the great, I know a lot about prisons and penology and that sort of thing. I think so does K2, who says, and as you well know, ignorance and incompetence is not a defense in court. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely. Incompetence, especially when you're charged with negligence. That's almost an admission of guilt. But do you know the number one fear they had in prisons? Number one, fire. Fire is the number one fear. It's the thing that, and they used to have prison, when they used to allow smoking, I don't think they have smoking in prison. I don't know, but they used to have these wands. They had these things, you pull them out to smoke a cigarette. They had no matches, no lighters, because if there was a fire, they would have to move people out. When firemen smell fire is this. I had this crazy aunt, and when she was a kid, she she always had a very, very strange sense of humor. But they were doing something one time. I don't know. They were building a fire in a fireplace or something. Anyway, but she turned around and she looked and she says, "Fire is my friend, my only friend." That's always been a joke in my house. Fire fascinates me. How it starts, the type of fire. Remember Backdraft? I think the only movie with Billy Baldwin, I think, Kurt Russell, Robert De Niro, Donald Sutherland, remember that? I one time was, years ago, I was in college, and there was a house that was on fire. Just starting. It was like, and there were people across the street that said, did anybody call? They go, "Oh yeah, we called. They're on their way." And we can kind of hear in the background, fire trucks coming. And I felt like, it was weird. I said, "Is it okay?" He goes, "Yeah, wait." This is before cell phones. And sure enough, they came. But it took longer than I thought. But it was just weird to watch this fire. And you know, there was something beautiful about it. And when I say beautiful, not because of the destruction. The fire doesn't know what it's doing. It's like cancer. It wants to seek other places. It wants to move. It wants to metastasize. It seeks oxygen. It just, nothing personal, just goes. And it's one of those things that we have studied forever. Remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, which was the most, oh my God, the great Max Stoyer. Stories, Chicago fire, fires in general. But there are people who can tell you over the past 100 years, we have studied brush fires, timber fires. We know exactly how it spreads, where it spread, how to look for it, how to stop it, and we still haven't figured it out. Let me give you an example of something which is the most important. And I'm going to say this, and Mrs. L has heard this so many goddamn times, it's not even funny. But there's one of those things about human beings I do not understand. We theoretically are talking about quantum computing, supersymmetry, particle physics, mapping the genome, landing on the moon, whatever you want. And it wasn't until fairly recently where somebody said, let's put wheels on suitcases. And then it took 5 years or so for somebody to say, well, let's, and these are wheels you had to tip. Remember, you had to tip the suitcase over and pull it. And so somebody says, wait a minute, let's put these casters on these 306 so you can just push it. How long did that take? How long? How long? United luggage, remember this, Amelia Earhart luggage. You would always get luggage on these shows in the 60s. Remember that when you go on the Match Game or something, you got your Newlywed Game, you always had matching luggage. And it's just, it's, so I don't understand how did this, I was really looking at a baby in the elevator the other day, and these prams and strollers are so incredible now. You pick the thing up and put them in the trunk, and they're higher, so the dogs will come up and lick your baby's face, and they don't, they just see things, and you don't have to bend over. How long did it take for them to figure that one out? I don't know. Forever? I don't understand this. Why have we not figured out how to stop fires? I don't get this. And let me promise, I promise you, nobody is going to say why. Nobody's going to talk about it. Nobody's going to think about it. Nobody's going to discuss it. Nobody's going to bring it up. Nobody will ever bring it up. I promise you. Nelson A says, hi, Mr. L. LA Mayor cuts $17 million from fire department months before fires. What is the restoration declaration Newscomb refused to sign? I will get that for you. Barry Taylor said James Woods lost his house in this fire, and his 7-year-old niece offered her piggy bank so he could rebuild. Doesn't that? Oh, that's what I saw. Hang on. Trump blaming Newsom. Trump slams Newsom, blames his water management. You can go read this. Let me see this. Here we go. Trump claimed, and then, by the way, you just asked me, what was the Trump? Did you see me go like that? Boom! There's the answer. There's the answer. It's an incredible story. Trump blames Newsom for his water management policies. Trump's comments have poured gasoline over the flames of the political and natural crisis, according to him. California manages water supplies by holding and releasing water from state-managed reservoirs. Trump blamed Newsom for the water shortages, claiming his water management policies failed to channel sufficient water from such reservoirs to areas that are now exposed to wildfires. Trump claimed Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water to flow daily into many parts of it. But he didn't do it. And it goes on and on. Trump had previously urged Newsom to put more water from reservoirs to flow into California's urban and rural areas. I mean, this goes on. So here's what we're going to say. What do you think is going to happen with this? Nothing. Nothing. What's James Woods going to do? James Woods, why he's not, I hope this is the thing which I don't understand. We need a cogent voice. We need more people, and he's able to get people to listen to him because he has an incredibly wonderful and limpid worldview, which is terrific. And we need this. But I don't understand. What do you think is going to be done? Nothing. You think Harris Faulkner is going to do this? No. Why is it that we're the only people who talk about it? Why do we? They've never mentioned weather manipulation one time. But like I told you, I don't have to manipulate weather. I can just drop a bomb or a fire, and that's it. This is the most incredible thing in the world. I can take advantage of natural conditions to further my agenda. These bastards want control. They want chaos because in chaos, they can implement more plans and disorder, which is what they need. Raising taxes puts out fires in Canada. I don't know what that means. I'm thinking, is that a code? I always read too much. Thank you, Teresa. I always read too much into that. Trump's having fun. He wants Canada. He wants the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. He wants Greenland. They're having a great time. They're having a wonderful time. I keep thinking of that picture of Don Jr. and Charlie Kirk. It looked like two guys off the short bus. You know what I mean? Illegal pot farms steal huge amounts of water. Well, could very well be. I'd like to look into that. And thank you for that. It's an incredible story. But we're not even done with this stuff. There's just so many things. Trump is the only one who has the guts to point out that the emperor has no clothes and that this guy's a corrupt fool. He's the only one to say that California's leadership has failed its people. And he's going to be the 2028 nominee. But remember, this isn't just about one state or one leader. Oh, no. It's about a system, a colossal system that's colossally broken. So corrupt that it can't even protect its own citizens from literal fire. It's about a globalist, weird agenda that sees disaster as an opportunity. And we've been telling people for the longest time, ask Lahaina, ask what happened. Look at all the property. Do you know who gets to pick, who gets to buy huge swaths of this area to be redirected? Oh, God. I'll take this area. Imagine billions and billions of real estate gone. What happens? Somebody comes and picks it up. Property is just as important now, if not more so. So as these people watch their homes burn, as they see the skies darken and then take on this weird hellscape orange fire, these tornadoes of fire, know this. Who is this? Trump is at the Capitol. God bless him. It's not just the wind or the dry brush. That's not it. It's a symptom of a much larger, much darker, deeper, suspected conspiracy. And unless we wake up, really commit ourselves to doing something about it, demand accountability and competence, we're going to be seeing this over and over and over until there's nothing left. And this is going to take something where we're going to have to go out and do something. And you've got to take to social media, and you've got to demand this, and you've got to be a part of this, and you've got to be a part of the crowd. Billions in art and collectibles gone. Well, remember, remember when we went into those beautiful antiquities musea in Iraq, we just destroyed, devastated them, empty, just remember that? This is bigger. I don't think I've able to explain to you. I feel like I've let you down, because you would be running out into the street now. You'd be picking up the phone. This is bigger. Because it's so obvious. It is so obvious. And yet we act like we don't know. It's like seeing this relative or this neighbor or this friend, a young lady who's always trying to cover up the black eye. She's in an abusive relationship. And you're saying, we know what's happening. Oh no, it's my fault. It's no, you don't understand something. I don't understand why people don't want to recognize the fact that what we're saying is true. This isn't a joke. Everything that you're saying, all this Republican stuff, is a waste of time. This is a new. During World War II, when Hitler was on the march, and they said, "Oh, what's this paper hanger guy going to do? What is stupid? Come on, he's not going to." Remember that? People love to soft soap it. And there are people in our communities who love to make, oh, is this that Jewish laser stuff again? They're the worst. Because remember, the people who stand in the way of progress are not the enemy, not China, not Russia, not whatever. No. It's America. So you mark my words, my friends. You are seeing something the likes of which we can't even believe. So cut up chatter. I thank you. Therese Pollard, Barry Taylor, Nelson A, K2ZMM, thank you. And I also want to thank you because you have been terrific. Mrs. L is on her way to 10,000. It's just a step one. 10,000 subscriptions at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. She was on today. Wait till you see the one from the other day. She's on a show with Nancy Grace, who was, oh my God. I thought Mrs. L was going to jump through the lens. I mean, it was spreading the word of victims' rights, spreading the word. And those kids, do you know what this does to pets, horses, migratory birds, children? What children have to go through? This is Gaza. Look at this. 11 days, Mrs. L, for your big day. Thank you, Nelson. Absolutely. Oh, we're going to party like it's $19.99. So, my friends, I thank you. I love you for this. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Do it right now. We are in a war. Do not let this go by. This is not about fire. This is about globalist encroachment. This is about the nefarious perfidy of a network of globalist conspiracies that these people can't even imagine. Because why? It fits the model perfectly. And you would think now would be the time to take all of those lefties in California and say, look at what your government did. You fell for this nonsense. I've said enough. My friends, have a great and a glorious day. Don't forget, go to Lynn's Warriors right now. Subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And don't forget, until then, my friends, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.